There are certain things we're told as children not to discuss in polite company. Religion and politics. There are questions we're not supposed to ask. Someone's age and weight. And then there's class, an idea so tangled up with income, with inheritance, with worth, that we just don't talk about it. But it still exerts a powerful influence on how we see ourselves and others. In an effort to unpack this complicated and fraught idea, joining me today is Betsy Leondar-Wright, Program Director at Class Action, a national nonprofit aimed at inspiring people of all backgrounds to identify and address issues of class and classism. Betsy has led over 100 workshops across the U.S. on classism, cross-class alliance building, and economic inequality. And most recently, she is the author of Missing Class, Strengthening Social Movement Groups by Seeing Class Cultures. Welcome, Betsy.
Thank you, Peter. Good to be with you.
Thanks for joining me. So can you start us off with a working definition of class?
Sure. One of the reasons that class is hard to talk about is because it's not just one thing. It's a number of interrelated spectrums of how our lives and our life chances are so different depending on our parents' education level and occupation and what neighborhood we grow up in and what kind of housing and then what kind of education we get and what field we're in. So all those things combined make our lives really, really different from people with different class stories.
So it's a complex of ideas, of beliefs. Okay. Let's get personal with class. Going back to your class of origin, or the class that you were born into, and how that's informed you and who you've become.
I grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey, and I did have some class mobility, upward mobility during my childhood, which I think made me curious about class. But mostly I say my background is upper middle class. And yeah, I think that my life and this work has been very influenced by my class background.
The vision of your organization, Class Action, is a world without classism. So maybe you can leave us with a vision of what such a world might look like.
We developed that vision, and it's on our homepage, and it does give us a sense of like the tiny steps we're taking today are moving us towards this really inspiring vision. So in a world without classism, everyone would be treated with respect and dignity, and everyone would have an opportunity to develop their own human potential. There would be way, way, way less economic inequality and inequality of status and power and opportunity, and everyone would have a say in the decisions that affect their lives. And to get there, we not only have to get rid of the systemic class the systems that are creating so much class inequality, because all these isms are interconnected. The world without classism won't be reached without getting rid of racism, sexism, and every other form of systemic oppression. So it's a pretty tall order.
But a step at a time.
But one step at a time.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
For Betsy Leondar-Wright, I'm Peter Bermudez for Arlington Public News.